mentioned, and a couple players had mentioned that first kind of huddle for training camp, and you and Lindsay sharing kind of what that was like, the transition from how 2016 ended into 2017. You don't have to share exactly what you said, but just kind of that message and going back to that place and wanting to express that experience to these players too, and maybe hopefully getting the same result.
Yeah, well, I think I started with the disappointment that we felt in 2016, right? Being able to get so close, right? So, and what that kind of pushed us to do, me and Wade, like you said, also spoke about it, but I think we were 32 or 33 at that time, old people. But I said, because of what happened the year before, like I came back like in the best shape of my life because I understood that moment was gone, but that created an opportunity for us to change what had happened or try to avenge what had happened, right? So I try to tell them that they can't get back what happened last year, but you do have the opportunity of this season and what you've dedicated yourself to in the off season to make of this one, right? So yes, it sucks, but now what? What's the story going to end like? Because I told them, like, in 20 years, nobody's going to look back and say, oh, but they won this way. They're going to say that was the champion. So this year you have an opportunity to finish this season saying you ended up where you wanted to be. So just kind of tell them to let that go and refocus on the opportunity that they have in front of them. And I think that I hope they were receptive because it is an amazing opportunity to be able to come back with your core group and try to get things back.
And Rebekkah, how do you balance that, using all that as fuel with not letting it consume you? Can you kind of go maybe a little bit overboard on that, and how do you avoid that?
I mean, I think in the beginning of every season, the goal is to, peak out. To you don't want to start saying we want to win a championship, but you want to try to be in your best space every season, right? And even if you won the championship the year before, the next season is still different. So I don't think you can ever get consumed with what happened in the past because there's no way to fix it. There's no way to change it, whether you won or you lost, right? And it's even difficult to repeat in certain situations, right? Because no season is the same. So regardless of what happened, you should never be consumed with what came before you. You should only be consumed with the task at hand. So I want their consumption to be, I'm going to come into this practice and I'm going to do everything I can to be great today. I'm going to take care of my body today, right? So that I want them to be consumed in this journey. And I'll always have that message about life. Like what's in the past is in the past. You can't get it back, but you have today. So I hope that they get consumed with today, all right? That's what I'm hoping for this team.
Last year, Cheryl had talked about the team quite a bit, reminding her of the Lynx championship teams that you were a part of. Mm-hmm. And specifically, she talked about just no one on the team wanted more. They weren't like afflicted by the disease of wanting more for themselves. How big of a part of just winning a championship is that? And how can you replicate that like year after year after year when some players have contract extensions or different life situations?
Yeah, I mean, life always plays a part in, what's going on, but I think that we do a very good job. And it started back when I was a player and we were going through our own journey of making sure that we selected people that already weren't afflicted with the disease of me, right? Because it's very hard to shake that from people. So we don't select people and say we can change them and get away from their ego and make them fit into our system. We select players that are already great basketball players, obviously, but understand that if you want to be the best team, you have to give up a little of yourself. So, I mean, you think about the players that were on that team with Simones and the Mayas and the Whalens, and then you go into Sylvias and Todges and all of those Hall of Famers. They came in understanding what it took to be a winning team and understanding that you need all the pieces. And you see that same thing with Fee, probably one of the most humble superstars that you have in this league. And I think we're at a place where we can call her a superstar, right? So you add Courtney Williams to that land, you add T, all of K-Mac, all of those players, they're already understanding of what it takes to be a successful team and understanding that you need everybody around you. So I think that we've continued to be on that path of making sure that we bring in people who play the game at an elite level but understand that you have to be selfless in a sense to win.
Could you just kind of give an early assessment of what your impressions of Betty Ann have been? I mean, she's a veteran who's played in a lot of big games for France. Now she's in your camp, and I'm sure you and she will be working quite a lot What are her strengths in your mind, and how do you think she'll fit in with what this team does?
Well, yeah, she's a great vet. First of all, so she comes with a lot of experience and is going to be able to bring that to our post group. She has great size. The biggest post player that we have on our roster right now as far as her height. And I've been really pleased with what I've seen with her with understanding our defensive concepts, understanding how we want to play offensively, our spacing, moving her out a little bit. She's already a player that can finish at the rim, has great post moves. She has the ability to spread the floor as well. So she fits into what we are already doing, right? So I've been impressed with her. She's selfless as well. She's here, and what do you need from me? How do I do this? And what I've seen from her from day one to day two, just a quick understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. If you show her something on video, she's going to be able to implement that extremely well. So I love that about her also. So she's a great fit right now. I'm excited to continue to work with her.
Coach, on Media Day last year, Alana Smith told us that it had been even less than a year that she thought her WNBA days were behind her, and that obviously changed very quickly and in a rapid way, and had a career year last year. What is she like to coach, and how much better do you think she's still getting, and how much better do you think she can become?
Yeah, I think we're going to probably take a similar approach with her that we took with Fee a year ago, and talking about the ability for her to grow as a more active defender on ball. She has great length and great size, and she's been able to really, really hold her own in certain spaces. We have no problem putting her on anybody defensively, but I think that she could take a leap there. But she's a sponge. She's a hard worker, right? So she wants to work extremely hard and absorb everything that you're asking of her. So I think that she had an amazing year last season. She has not allowed that to change her at all. She's coming with the same energy that she came in off of a season where she felt like probably her career might have been coming to an end. So I respect how she's taking care of herself in the offseason and what she's done for these first couple of days.
What was that kind of satisfaction like to see someone just completely blossom into, seeing the potential that, maybe has always lingered there, and to try and bring that out of her day after day and seeing that, like, I don't want to say final product, but just how the season came together?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most rewarding things about it, about coaching. It's fun to watch the execution part of it and watch a play set run perfectly or watch a defensive scheme go the way you wanted it to. But being able to dig into players and find out what you can bring out of them and have them start to recognize what you see in them, right? Because I think as players, sometimes the coaches are the best coaches, that they see something in you that you don't necessarily see in yourself. So for me, the most rewarding part of it is to have players like Lan that you talk to and you say, I believe in you in this way, and then see them start to slowly say, you're right, I can do this, and then do those things on the floor and be that player. So working with Lan has been extremely rewarding in that aspect.
Then lastly, I wanted to ask about Jess Shepard and how she's returning, and what can you say about her since we haven't seen her in a little while, and the impact that she's capable of having that we're familiar with?
Yeah, Jess looks great. First of all, I'm excited to have her back with us. She's somebody that I always kept communication with, so great player. But she's different than our other bigs, right? You think about what Fee is able to do. She is able to create shots for other people, but she is a score first type of post, right? But can play on the perimeter, great ball handling skills, ability to shoot. And Jess can do those things, but flip it to a create first mindset, right? So she is somebody that we know we're going to be able to play through because she's really, cerebral in a way. She has great instincts, a great passer, great rebounder. I think that's the space that we'll probably lean on her heavily. But it's really good to have her back. But she's a little bit different than the other bigs that we have. Different than Lan. She's different than Fee. She's different than Peely. All of those other posts. So she adds a different dynamic to what we're able to do offensively, and as a solid defender too.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.